Hello friends, welcome to the mighty Toby Ricketts Studios here in the far north of New Zealand in the middle of nowhere, as those of you who follow my channel know that I'm in the middle of the New Zealand jungle. Anyway, today I'm going to start a series about what voiceovers get wrong when they submit their final audio tracks. This is useful for not only voiceovers but people who use voiceover in their projects as well. So I just want to go over a few of the classic mistakes because I've recently cast a project and so many of these came up that I thought I've got to do a video series where I tell people what does my head in when people send in voice tracks. So the first one today is file naming. And it sounds really innocuous and like, who cares about file naming? You know, like just call it anything. Call it, voice tracks 01. But as someone who receives lots of voice tracks, that is super annoying because it doesn't identify what the project is, what date it was. So you end up with this downloads folder just full of these random things. And you have to listen to them to find out what they are. So here are my suggestions on how to name your voice tracks. Switch to the other camera. Right. So your name is super important in the file name there. Toby Ricketts VO. So if someone gets it, they're like, oh, well, that's Toby's voiceover, obviously. The brand, this is a voiceover I did for Abu Dhabi, their Find Wonder campaign. So the brand and the campaign is really important to put in there. And then, like, what the session was. So was it the first voice session? Is it a pickup? Is it the temp VO like I did here? Then you'll notice that there are processed versions and there are raw versions. I always send like a raw version in case the engineer wants to do their own processing on it, and a processed one in case they just want to put it in case it sounds great. And then the date is really important as well, because once you start getting into lots of things, you need to know what the most recent kind of one was. And I think it's important to include all these things because if the client wants to keep working with you and do other projects, it's really important to differentiate this project from the last one. And it just helps so much as speaking as like an audio producer to know exactly what this file is and what it contains without having to open it up and listen to it. So that's another little quick bite. Stay tuned this week because we're going to go over the other 4 things. There's going to be 5 posts in the series. There's going to be another 4 things of how to improve your audio when submitting it. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks, guys.